Hi, blessings. Welcome to my channel, Pizzo's Pages. I'm doing a special edition of What I'm Loving Kid Lit based on series, books that have several titles in a series, and you can get a lot of bang out of your reading bucks if you hook your children to some of these series, whether they're your students or your neighborhood kids or your community center or your own children. These books I often recommend to families because they're highly engaging, very adventurous, lots of imagery, lots of big imagination ideas, and just fun. They are purely fun books for a kid to enjoy and dive deep into. But what I love most about these books is that they have a multitude of titles in their series. And so when you hook a child to one, they typically will read all the way through the series. I want to talk about two particular series that I don't have in front of me that did that for my readers at home when they were growing up. One series of unfortunate events. A series of unfortunate events. There are 13 books in that series, and my daughter and my son, they read the first one, and then they just kept going and going and going. And they were excellent reads for them. Fantastical, some magic realism in them, but they were just really intriguing and enthralling and engaging for them, and that just kept them reading for months and months and months, and they helped develop their vocabulary as well as give them a much broader understanding about the world around them because they were written so well. I've talked about Geronimo Stilton on my channel before, another series that looks like it's a lot of fun and comics. I'm big into comics and magazines and graphic novels. Shout out to New Kid. There's a video coming out about New Kid who won the Newbery, first graphic novel to win a Newbery. So I'm really proud of that. But I'm always big in that because that usually captures a reluctant reader, but not just a reluctant reader. Maybe that is what's affordable or what's at hand. When I was a kid, I used to go to the corner store. I grew up on the corner store. So I used to go around the corner to the corner store, and they would have little rag magazines. Mad was one of them. They also had comic books, all of the Marvel comic books, and lots of, as I grew older, magazines like Essence and Ebony and Jet. And they really shaped who I am as a reader because they were always really quick reads that I could grab a hold of really quickly and go feel a sense of accomplishment because I could read cover to cover and complete it really quickly on a bus ride or riding to church or a quick trip somewhere or just sitting hanging out at home. And so these books are very similar to that in that they are full of illustrations. They have lots of graphics, very high engaging, not heavy content at all. And I know there's a space and place for that, but honestly, I want my kids to be able to enjoy as much laughter and joy and plain old silliness for as long as they can. I mean, once you're an adult, that gets further and further away from your existence, unfortunately, because we're dealing with this big, wide, crazy world. But for kids, if they fill their days with silliness while they're reading, I am okay with it. And if that keeps them reading, you should be too. So these are a lot of great titles. They have a ton of titles within their series that once you hook that child onto one, you could just keep challenging them. You finish that one, you'll get the next one and see how many they can get through purely enjoying. They are not books that you should ever be quizzing them about or trying to have deep philosophical conversations about or doing the who, what, when, why. I guarantee, and I know what all of these top noted reading researchers and educators are saying, but I guarantee if you just get them to read these series consistently throughout their summers and on their break times and just in their day-to-day, they're going to develop into readers. They will develop into readers. They will have a vocabulary. They will have an understanding for setting, characters, plot, theme. They'll get all of that because you want them reading widely. You want them reading so many books that you don't have time to go through these deep dive conversations about what are you reading today? And what do you think that character is all about? And why did that character do that? And what is the setting? You want them to just enjoy that reading time, to read expansively. So here are some titles that I'm loving that come in series that can hook your reader and get them to read even more. Get them to read even more. Shout out to Scholastic and First Books. They are the primary resources in which I get my books. There are some other books by the bushel that I also get. I'll put those links down below. But they have the best price points for me, and you get bonuses. I think in Scholastic, if you buy 100 books, you get 10 books free. Can't beat that. And they bundle and they package First Books. If you go into their bargain bin online, they have a whole donation system where publishers donate titles and you can get, it's the same title, but you can get several of that one title for just the cost of shipping. So I love these distributors, these book distributors, and I'm all for them. All right, let's get started. The newest one I really like is Owl Diaries. It's a part of the Branches line at Scholastic. Scholastic saw a big gap in that second K through third grade, well, really first through third grade reading, which is most penalized for their inability to read. So most states, I think 16 states across the country has a read by third grade reading law, which states that if a child isn't reading proficiently based on the state assessment, they in third grade, when they take their very first reading assessment test, crazy, then they can be held back or should be held back by law. So that's in about 16 states across the country, and more states are adopting this process and this legislation, and it's terrible, but Scholastic saw this gap and wanted to do something about it and really started looking at how to create books that would really engage and really draw readers in at that first, second, and third grade levels. This is really it. I love Owl Diaries. It's just cute, silly. That's it. Cute. Don't look for some deep, introspective, reflective, developmental understanding with this book. It's cute, really cute. Feel totally seen in this one. Oh, okay. So let me talk a little bit about this one. This one is called Eva's Treetop Festival, and Ava by Rebecca Elliott. And it is, every page is full of illustrations. Every page is full of illustrations. And Eva Wingdale always has big ideas like the Bloomtastic Festival. She wants to set up a fashion show, a talent show, an art show, and a bake-off. That's why I feel seen. That's my life. I always have a million ideas that I think I can pull off all by myself. Eva does not like asking for help, but this festival is a lot of work. Will she need to ask her friends to lend a wing? It is so cute. The story is really a good story, and it is a story you can actually talk about and really help your little ones understand the importance of getting help and setting realistic goals and accomplishing those goals with friends. It's a great read, super cute. I sat down and read it, and it probably took me 30 minutes, if that. A little one though, first, second, third grade, it's gonna take them a little longer. It is, and it has great vocabulary in it. It has great illustrations in it. It's really imaginative, and it will grow with your reader. These are illustrated early chapter books that grow with readers. So I really highly recommend Owl Diaries, Eva's Treetop Festivals for your kindergarten, first, second, third graders. It's a wonderful series. And I believe now in this series, let's see if I count the back, there may be 9 or so in this series. It's so super cute. And every time I give these books away at events, kids love them. If I put them on the table, it's immediately picked up off the table. Great, great book series, Owl Diaries. The next one I want to talk about, one of my favorite, Who Would Win? Green Ants versus Army Ants. And this is by Jerry Pelota, illustrated by Rob Bolster. And so this is a whole series. You can read them all. You can read them all. And when I say all, look at that all. Over 20 in this series. It's not a quicker read, even though these 2 books are totally thinner. This is nonfiction. Nonfiction typically will take longer for a child to be able to process and read through on their own, but it is highly engaging. The illustrations are wonderful, and they even add a few other activities within the book. But it's excellent. It's excellent. And it's actually, basically, it gives evidence. Each page gives evidence for or against who you think might win. Okay? For or against. So green ants, army ants, you're going to keep seeing them compare similarities and differences to determine who might win if they battle. This series flies off all of my tables, especially with young boys, first, second, third grade. First, second, third grade. And I would say this series could go up to 4th grade because it does use all of the scientific names and some of the classifications within each series. But they have everything from hornets versus wasps, Komodo dragon versus king cobra, tarantula versus scorpion, whale versus giant squid, green rattlesnake versus secretary bird. It's a great, great series. Who would win? And it's definitely one that you can share in the learning with your child. It's a great series. You start them on one, just keep buying them. And this little one, it doesn't have a price point on it because, like I said, I buy all these books in bulk. So no price point. The next one that's been a big fan favorite, Sophia Martinez, The Marigold Mess. I read this. It's so totally cute. Simply cute. Simply cute. It does have Spanish words throughout it. So includes Spanish words and a glossary for it. It's by Jacqueline Jules, illustrated by Kim Smith. Illustrated, and Sophia is ready to take on a new chore, and washing the car sounds a lot more fun than dusting. But when Sophia starts to clean the car, she makes a muddy mess of her mom's marigolds. How will Sophia fix the marigold mess? It's really good. It's a really good one. Another one that is kindergarten level, but those first, second, it's still very highly engaging. Repetitious reading over and over. Illustrated pretty much on every page. Another one that when it's read, when it's put on my table, it flies off. Sophia flies off. A lot of little girls love her hair and her curls. And I work in large urban districts with students of color, and they love Sophia. They love Sophia Martinez. It's a great series. Definitely. She has several in her series. Let's see if there's a number somewhere. I don't see a number anywhere, but I know there are probably at least 6 in this series that you could purchase. Sophia Martinez. All right, another new favorite of mine, which is a part of that Branches line, and I read this one. It took me a little longer, probably about 2 hours, probably about an hour to read through this one. For another little guy, I would say it would take maybe a week or so. They might plow through this. First kindergarten, first and second, third grade might read it in a day or so. But it's got illustrations on every page. They are not in color. I think that's connected to the whole eerie concept behind these books. However, this is Erie Elementary is falling apart. Floors are splitting, walls are crumbling, and the students are in serious danger. Principal Winnick announces that the school must be torn down. But Sam, Lucy, and Antonio are not sure that is the answer. Could this all be part of Orson Erie's plan to live forever? Sam and his friends must work fast to find out. And this is a $5 book. It does have the price point on this one. I don't think I got it for $5. Scholastic will often take $5 books and make them $2 or $3 price point, which is affordable for me. The consultant that I work with, she knows usually I want to stay under $3, and so I believe this book was in there because I'm buying in bulk. Read all Erie Elementary Adventures. They have 2 other ones listed on here. Sam Battles the Machine, and my eyes won't let me read that other one. This one is called Erie Elementary. Classes are canceled. And this is by Jack Shabert, New York Times bestselling author. I really enjoyed it. It was fantastical and magical, but also has that little spookiness, just enough spookiness for a little one. That's first, second, or third grade. Just enough. You don't want to get them all where they can't sleep at night and they're scared to go to school, because they're still developing a lot of that under being able to understand what's real and what's fiction. They're still very much developing that. When I look on the back of it, though, and I don't have any of these titles. Oh, I do have one. And I'll show that one next. But in the back of the Branches book, they give you some of their other series. And I will tell you, every time I use these, they fly. The students love them, and they are read. They are read on the walking away from my table all the way out the door. And their parents are usually like, they couldn't put their book down. So I love that about these books. Dragon Masters is one, and by Tracy West. The Silver Pony Ranch by D.L. Green. Amazing Stardust Friends. I love that series. It's Sweet, Sweet, Sweet by Heather Alexander. Lotus Lane by Kyla May. Hilda Cracks the Case by Hilda Lissick with Matthew Lissick. And there are more of these series to come. They are also available on ebooks. So Branches. There's one that's a little bit younger. So Branches, I would say, is like second, third grade, definitely. And if your fourth grade really struggles a little bit with reading, definitely fourth grade could enjoy this book. Acorns is another one. So you think the acorn falls from the branch. So it's more kindergarten first. Even some preschoolers may be able to read her if you have a really early reader. But these books are really highly engaging, very, very kid focused, and just very, very, interesting for kids. So I would definitely pick these up if you have kids in that age. Branches and Acorns. I get this question all the time. I do not believe that kids only have to read within a certain age level. But once they are readers, you do want to get them books that are just right books that will build their confidence as a reader, that will continue to keep them reading, and that will push them just a little further in their reading. Just a little further. They should not be stumbling over words. I have kids that will come up to my table, and I usually have these type of books. In one section, I have picture books and board books in another section for that parent with hip babies and toddlers. And then I'll have a teen section because sometimes those siblings are with those their sisters and brothers at our events. And their parents are kind of proud that their second grader or their third grader grabs this teen book. And teen books, and I don't censor any of our books, have serious content that is most likely inappropriate for that age. That's the first thing. The second one is if you open it up and they're stumbling through the first one or two words, that's not going to help them grow as a reader. And second graders, I don't care how great they read and can word call, their understanding still needs to be developed. And that's what happens with Just Right books. Books that are at their developmentally appropriate proficiency. They are able to grow in their development and understanding of themes, of characters, of settings, of emotions, and all of that. And so I definitely encourage you to get these wonderful books that are in a series. This is going to be a long one. I already know because I have so many great books in this series. The other one, The Notebook of Doom. I love this series. All of the kids love these series for the most part. You have some diehard owl diaries that just want sweet, but then there's a group of kids that are going to probably be headed to that R.L. Stein Goosebumps and some of those scarier books that love The Notebook of Doom. It isn't anything in here scary. It's a notebook filled with monsters that are pretty silly overall. But it's that same concept of eerie elementary, really interested. This is called Pop of the Bumpy Mummy by Troy Cummings. There's a whole series of these as well. The next book in the series. A lot of kids love them. Flurry of the Zombies and Snobbies instead of zombies. Just really fun, interested. Great vocabulary, great stories, interesting and engaging. Kids love them. Alexander's class is sleeping over at the Starmount Museum when the famous ruby scorpion gets stolen. Then Alexander sees the bumpy mummy walking the hallways. His friends Rip and Nikki think he must be seeing things, but as a member of the SSMP, Alexander knows anything is possible in Starmount. So it's good. Another great series. Second, third grader. This one is even a little bit higher because the words are just a little bit denser. But second, third grade should be reading this, and you could just keep. And it also appeals to first. See, I was right without even really knowing. First through third graders, reading level grade 2. So definitely, your kids should be at this level. Let me tell you, I also see a lot of parents allowing their second and third graders to read nothing but picture books. And picture books may be just right as far as they are able to read through them very well and easily and on their own, but it won't challenge them and push them in their reading development. So you really want a book, and they should be engaging longer than 5 minutes a day and then they're done reading when they get home. No, give them a book with a little bit of teeth in it and very interesting with some pages. It's cold, it's winter. This is what they should be doing. All right, let's talk about some of these other books that I love, fan favorites. After they go through this initial, so this is K through 3. That's what I'll do. I'll break this up into 2. So K through 3, first through third grade. This is this series, first through third grade readers. And then the next ones, Judy B. Jones. We know about Judy B. Jones. I hope we know about Judy B. Jones. She has a whole bunch of books, and Judy is Miss Sassafras to me. There is a series called Miss Sassafras, but she is just sassy. And A Little Monkey Business. Parents, teachers, everyone loves this series. It's It's very highly engaging, and kids just love them. Kids love them. This is a first, second, third level book. First, second, third level book. There's not as many illustrations. The Branches series has illustration on every page. That's part of the appeal. These don't have as many illustrations because this is an older series of books, and so kids were as visual. They weren't on a tablet or app looking at something visual all the time. So there are illustrations, but not as many. But still, very great series for a kid to read, kidding, first, second, third grade. It's pooey on babies until Junie B. Jones finds out that her new baby brother is a big fat deal. Her two bestest friends are giving her everything they own just to see him. And guess what else? Maybe she could bring him to school on pet day. That's that Junie B. Jones. So this is another great series if you have a first, second, or third grade. Yes, if you want to read all the way through them, to them at bedtime, that's great too. But I really think these are just right books for that reader, that young reader in your life to grow and develop as a reader. Next one in this series, The Falcon's Feathers. This is A to Z Mysteries, The Falcon's Feathers by Ron Roy. This is by Barbara Park. Junie B. Jones is the creator of... Barbara Park is the creator of Junie B. Jones. Barbara Park is the creator of Junie B. Jones, and it's a fabulous series. All right, the next series I want to talk about is A to Z Mysteries, The Falcons. This is The Falcon's Feathers, and this is by Ron Roy. The A to Z Mysteries. So there is a mystery for every letter. Falcon's Feathers, get it? So there's the Goose's Gold. And you can go all the way through. Kids love this series. Kids love this series, A to Z Mysteries. One afternoon, Josh discovers a nest of young falcons. He, Dink, and Ruth Rose start checking up on the birds every day until the morning they find the nest empty. Then the kids see one of the falcons with its wings, feathers trimmed, and they know someone's up to no good. Can they figure out what's going on before it's too late for the falcons? So these mysteries go all the way through. Kids love them. They also have the year mysteries. I want to say it's called the month to month mysteries. And so there's a May mystery, an April mystery, a January mystery, and kids love them also. But great series. So A to Z, 26 books. They read one, you just keep pumping them to them until they get tired of it or they don't want to read. But high level, this is definitely second and third grade. Definitely just right books to push their proficiency and growth as a reader. Keep them engaged too. Alrighty, so these are the books I am recommending. Let's go through them again. Owl Diaries. This is part of the Scholastic Branches line. Who Would Win series. Sophia Martinez. Erie Elementary series. The Notebook of Doom series. Junie B. Jones series, as well as A to Z Mysteries series. I definitely would recommend you get your young readers engaged in reading these books to help them continue to grow and foster a love of literacy in your home, school, and community. All right, blessings. If you like this, please push that thumbs up. Put a comment. What hooked you on reading? What series was it out there that hooked you when you were reading? Was it Sweet Dale High? Was it Nancy Drew? Was it Encyclopedia Brown? What hooked you to reading? And then subscribe, share, send others my way to become a part of Pizzo's Pages. Remember, I'm an author tube, a mom tube, and a book tube. We're always talking about the many pages in our lives.